Hey guys, and today I thought I would do a freshers video, basically on my experiences of freshers at university, what I learned, what I heard from other people, etc, etc. I thought it would be a really nice video to do because this time last year I was in the position where I was sitting here and I was filming videos about how I was going to university and I didn't actually know anything and what to expect and literally what to do with myself when I got there. But now I'm a year in, which I really don't like the thought of. I'm not a big fan of that. Don't like the fact that I've already done a year. I thought I was in a better position to actually give you guys some tips and tricks and basically just give you a little bit of insight on what I've learned. Just a little disclaimer, I have got some doggies at the moment. If you can see a lot of movement back here, it's because I have got a lot of dogs staying with me. That one there is little Dexter. If there's a slight jump in this video, it might be because they've started barking, so yeah. I've split this video up into certain categories to make it easier for you to navigate yourself around the video and kind of only listen to what you want to listen to, so I'm not offended at all. If you want to look in the description box, find out where and when and what, it'll all be down there. And yes, it's always really helpful and useful having someone else tell you their whole experiences with university. Everyone is different, everyone deals with university differently. If you're watching this and thinking, I would not do that, or is she stupid, then that's fine, each their own. You're all going to have a completely different but hopefully amazing experience. Also, university is not for everyone, so if you find that you get there and you don't like it, then cool, that's fine, that's your choice. This is simply my experience and what I've learned, so let's get on with the video. I thought I would start with actual freshers, so freshers week. When it comes to tickets and events and what to buy and what not to buy and what to spend money on and blah. Freshers week is absolutely chaos. I touched on this on my previous video, which will also be linked down below. When I got there, I kind of expected to just go straight into it. I moved in on the Saturday and freshers didn't really start until like Sunday, Monday. None of the clubs opened till Monday, so I kind of moved in and I was like, right, what now? They like you to spend a lot of time with your flat, getting to know them without all the events, which I suppose is a good idea to an extent. Anyway, that's how my university dealt with it. Expect to not go mad straight away. A lot of people turn up, beers in hand, ready to go, and it's not always like that from the beginning. Do make the most of that time and take time to unpack. I know I chucked my stuff in the room, kind of unpacked a little bit and hovered because I was sort of waiting for something to happen that didn't happen. Unpack, because once the freshers events get started and you start making friends, you don't want to be like sitting in your room packing and putting things on walls and making yourself feel at home. Like, just do it straight away and it'll make the whole experience a whole lot easier. When it comes to tickets, I accidentally ordered the wrong ticket to begin with, because once you start tweeting or putting on Facebook that you're going to a certain university or if you're going to a certain area, there's a lot of people that will add you and they will try and entice you with all these offers and the best ultimate fresher wristband and great student deals. Don't buy into it until you talk to your flatmates. The university itself sometimes will send an email out, or our student union kind of contacted us all and was like, this is the freshers ticket you need to get because this is run by us, which means more people are likely to get that ticket instead of just the generic wristband. I got added to a Facebook page in which every day it was like, only 50 left, only 25 left, only 10 left, and I panicked because I thought I don't want to miss out on freshers at all. I really don't want to be that person that's sitting at home because they didn't manage to get any freshers tickets, because that was just gonna be poop. I had a massive FOMO at that point and I quickly bought this ticket and it was 25-ish pounds. 20 pounds that I lost because I didn't use the ticket, because then I got an email from my student union saying, this is the ultimate fresher package from us, you need this kind of thing. All my flatmates had got it and I was like, ah. Freshers tickets are also very expensive. I got the ultimate package because I just panicked and just bought the ultimate package again, so I probably wasted about 80 quid on freshers tickets all in all. How our uni did it was you could get 3 types of packages. You could get the ball alone, you could get the deluxe package, which I got, with the summer ball included, or you could just get the freshers tickets without the ball. To be fair, the ball was the best night. That was the only night that I found loads of people were hunting online for tickets. The rest of them, most people sold their tickets, which is why I say don't panic if you don't manage to get one. The student union has usually got enough for everyone, and there's always someone that sells their tickets. Where I went, they split it in half. I think I've explained this before, where one half of accommodation goes on certain nights out, and then the other half of accommodation goes on different nights out, and they kind of alternate. So like one night will be Animal Kingdom and they'll have school disco, and it'll kind of go like that. I found that most of the friends I made were on the other half of the ticket to me, so I ended up selling most of my tickets and trying to buy their tickets, and that's kind of how that worked. People usually sell tickets for £5 on the day, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than you buying the £60 ultimate package, which gives you events going on and on and on into like late October, November. Our freshers tickets went on for ages. And I never used those by that point, so I ended up selling those too, and then by then no one wanted to buy them. So I'm luckily made most of my money back, but I guess what I'm trying to say here is just don't panic buy. It's not worth it. There's so many websites and Facebook pages that will tell you that that is the freshest ticket you need to get, and you need to get it now, and you need to get all the deluxe versions of everything and waste 70 quid on freshers. You really don't, because you've got to remember, once you get there as well, you're spending money on drink and transport and going out in the day. Freshers, all in all, is just so expensive. If I did it again, I definitely would not buy a package. I would just wait and get there, and that's definitely what I'm doing for my refreshers this year, is I'm just going to get there, see what my friends are doing each night, and then try and get a ticket that night, and if I don't, it's not the end of the world. I obviously understand that it's much more of a stress when it comes to freshers because you don't know anyone, so you kind of want to be doing what everyone's doing in order to fit in and make friends. That leads us on to friends and flatmates. Friends and flatmates is something that is kind of scary when it comes to university, because you are going most of the time somewhere with no one that you know. I mean, you're very lucky if you do know someone, but actually I think it was best for me to not know anyone when I was going, because I made myself make friends. I panicked in first term because I didn't meet loads of people that I really got on with. I met a few people, but I was too nervous to establish a friendship with them. There was two different types of people at university. There were the people that were instantly best friends with everyone, and they were posting things with them, and they were spending all their time with them. And then there was the other people that were like, am I friends with you or am I annoying you? And I thought I was that person. I was very reluctant to make best friends with everyone because I just didn't want to be annoying. I wish I had involved myself a lot more in the first term, but it did come with time. I did make really good friends at the end of first term, second term, and third term. I feel so comfortable there. There are so many people now that I can just walk in a room and be absolutely astounded by how many people I actually like in that room. I went to Edinburgh recently, and most of my friends from uni were there, and it was so nice to go to someone's flat just to say hello to one person, and they're living with 20 of your friends, and everyone in that room just being happy to see you. Yeah, that's an amazing feeling. Fitting in, it kind of comes with a on switch. Just one day you do look around and you realise you're comfortable in all these people's presence, and that's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. Don't try and force friendships in freshers because it's not worth it. Just whatever's natural will happen. And I've met my best friend at university, and I met her on the second day, and that wasn't at a party, that was literally at an induction. And I just knew that I got on with her, and I really liked her, and I liked how she was, I liked how she acted, I liked her morals, and she has literally been my best friend ever since. So you can meet gems on your first day, but you could also meet them on your last day. Keep an open mind, don't try and put yourself into a group. Most people try to group themselves too quickly in order to feel some form of comfort, which I completely understand. It's so understandable that you'd want to try and feel comfort when you're that far away from home and that far away from your friends, and at this point going to university, you're probably some people going to university with a group of friends already at home. I do find most people try to recreate that straight away, and it's not going to happen because those friendships have developed over years, and these are people that you've known a week. Saying that, you probably will find someone at university that makes you think, oh my gosh, my friends that I've known all these years, we're very different people now. Growing apart from people is so difficult to accept that it's actually happening, but it's part of life, and people always tell you when you go that you will probably not be friends with some people from home, and you don't want to believe it, and no, that is not the case for everyone at all. obviously. It's sad. I found myself distancing myself slightly from some people. The friendships are different. I've not had an argument with anyone at university because I don't want to argue with them. Like, I don't want to waste any time arguing, and my friends in relationships with people are different and supportive, and when you go home and there's an argument straight away, or whether someone's not happy with something that you've done or not supportive of you, it does make you look at it and go, okay, I'm still going to be friends with this person, but maybe not put all my time and effort into them because I'm not getting much back, which sometimes you've really got to be selfish. Your flatmates as well, I won't go too much into this because I did in the other video, are not necessarily going to be your best friends. I loved my flat, I really liked the dynamic, it worked, but I wouldn't have met them otherwise. One of my best friends, Catherine at university, she is my flatmate. We are quite different. I'm really loud, she's very quiet. I don't know whether or not I would have met her otherwise though, which is a lovely thought because if I hadn't have lived with her I wouldn't have known her, but then again I wouldn't have known her otherwise, which you kind of question like, we did sit there with each other and looked at each other and went, would we be friends if we didn't live together? You don't know. So keep an open mind of who you're going to be friends with, you never know who you're going to meet, but also your flat don't have to be your best friends, they don't have to be your enemies. It's just people to live with at the end of the day. A lot of people do hype up what it is, and they think that you're going to have pranks with your flat the whole time and you're going to spend your whole time loving them and you're going to become this whole group and you're going to go out in this group and you're going to live together forever. That's not always how it works, and I know some of my friends that did love their flat at the beginning and moved in with them for the second year, and they got halfway through first year and they realised these people aren't bettering them at all. It's a weird dynamic, it's hard to get right. Just please don't go in expecting them to be these amazing party animals that are on your wavelength, because they're just people, and yeah. Moving on to living and money and health and job and all of that stuff, that's all going to come into one big category here. I'm going to start with living because it links most onto what I've just talked about briefly about flatmates. Living, you will be pushed to find a house as soon as you move in. So you'll move into your accommodation and then all of a sudden, crap, there's talk about who you're going to live with second year, where are you going to live, what are you going to do, how are you going to afford it, blah, 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 blah. Accommodation in first year is so expensive in comparison to second year, because second year you can find a house for literally half the price that you're paying for a room, a kitchen and a toilet. It really does open your eyes to how much of a rip-off university can be. Obviously I wouldn't have changed my experience for the world. I'm glad I lived in the halls I did. Fortunately though, it was so expensive. I panic bought a house. I had a house by 7th week of first term. Everyone's sort of sitting there, twiddling their thumbs, hoping someone asks to live with you, which is really weird and horrible because it's kind of like being picked for PE and you're the last one to be picked for PE. It's not a pleasant experience. I ended up living with my flatmates again, bar a few, and my friend from home. It's so strange because over the year I changed so much in myself. I kind of found myself really questioning why I picked so early, because my friendship groups completely changed. I'm glad I didn't pick to live with my best friend from freshers, because although we're definitely going to live together in third year, we just didn't want to do that thing of, I really like this person, let's live with them, and find out that actually I don't like them. I still do, I still adore her, and I'm glad we chose not to live together, because maybe, I don't know, we would have ruined a friendship. I doubt it, but it can happen, and we did hear horror stories about that happening. Although it took a lot of pressure off, and the fact that I had a house, I panicked less, and there was always people around me trying to find properties, and it is a dog-eat-dog world because people are trying to snap up the property from underneath your feet. We literally went for a viewing, and someone wanted a viewing the next morning, and I was like, we need to get it now, and we did, and we have this amazing house in a really safe area. Generally, it's a really nice location, a really nice house. We've got some big bedrooms, amazing spaces. It will be a very quiet house. Speaking of like noise levels as well when it comes to your second house, is that a lot of people do live with like their best friends or their friends and their people that they club with. I'm not. I'm living with Catherine and some of my other flatmates who are generally quite quiet, which, to be fair, is probably really going to suit me when it comes to second year, because now it counts. It's going to start counting now, and I need to get into the habit of revising and keeping on top of work, and I already know next term I'm going to be so busy, so it's actually going to be quite nice to come back to a house and be able to just chill out. The most exciting thing for me about university was we were like making dens in the living room, and we were looking around at each other and we were going, we're adults, like we have been put in charge of this place and we have to make sure it doesn't burn down, and here we are ordering Domino's at 4 in the morning, making a fort and watching films and wasting this whole weekend watching films, and we have nothing to show for it. It's like a load of big babies in nappies running around in an adult world. Like, no one really knows what they're doing. When it comes to living, you do need to remember that you can't live off Subway forever. You do kind of need vegetables and fruit and bear. I highly recommend getting vitamins and like minerals and stuff that you can get from like Holland and Barrett and like supermarkets. I used to have like little vitamin C tablets and like iron tablets, which I have anyway from my health problems, but like it was really helpful having vitamins to just take every day, just so I knew that if I didn't manage to eat 5 fruit and veg that day, I was at least getting most of it from supplements and relatively keeping myself healthy. I had to make sure that I was spending a fair amount on food a week. Don't try and cut costs just for food because you want to go out. It's not a sustainable way of living, let's put it that way. Like, if you're given by your parents, I don't know, or from what you've given yourself that week, like £30 for food, don't just spend 5 because you think you're going to spend the rest on going out. You are going to be hungry and grouchy and you're not going to perform the best doing your work. You're just, no, it's not. You're going to become ill and you'll spend more money on tablets and Calpol and whatnot, making yourself feel better. Just generally try and do one big shop a week. Fill your cupboards with pasta, soup, so if you do run out, you've got something in the cupboard to make pasta with until you can go shopping again. The amount of times that saved my life because I didn't want to go shopping and it was raining and I was just tired or I was ill and I had soup in the cupboard and I had like a bit of bread. Like, it's just helpful. Saying that, supermarkets, be careful where you shop as well. There are little tips and tricks that you can cut corners with costs, etc, etc. I shop at Aldi. I used to shop initially at Morrison's, which was fine as it was. I was spending about £20 a week maybe, and then a little bit more on like if I ate out once that week. I was given £50 a week for everything kind of thing, which was very generous, but I have a lot of dietary requirements with my disease. Like soya milk and gluten-free stuff is far more expensive and it's just irritating. But you can get soya milk that's from the long life section, which is also own brand. So instead of like Alpro soya being £3, you can get long life for 50p. There are ways of cutting costs. It does depend on where you go. Aldi is incredible, Lidl as well. I live right by Aldi next year, which I think is going to really help because I can do shops in like 3-4 day basis, which is a lot better than trying to do it for a week because I like a lot of fresh food. Fresh food is far cheaper than buying yourself loads of ready meals. You'd be surprised, you're shopping for yourself, so whereas where your mum or your dad or your siblings used to shop for the whole family, and that would go quite quickly, you've got 4 meals from 1 packet of fajitas. Meal prep is really helpful as well if you know you're going to have a really busy week and it comes to like the weekend and you know like Tuesday and Wednesday that week you're just going to be so busy. Monday night, try and just cook a big batch of pasta, put it in the fridge, and then take it with you. Also, at Freshers Fair, make the most of all the deals and coupons. Keep them, even if you don't spend them in Freshers Week, they'll come in really handy. Like, we got vouchers for free Marmite and free Subways and like mug shots and loads of random little things. Saying that as well, I think I mentioned this before, but Uni Days is a really, really good app to use. It gives you 20% off certain things, 10% off others. It's really good for things like Apple Music, Spotify Premium. You can set up an account and have it half price for the whole year that you're using it, which why not? I always just have it on my phone, so if I'm walking around, there's a really big boring shopping centre where I am, which is so irritating because I don't have any money. But I'm walking around and like I'll get a notification or like something will come up and it will say like, oh, check what the uni days are near you. And I can look and walk into Topshop and save like 10-20%, which every little helps. That came in really handy at Christmas when things were like sales and deals in order to get people presents, and then I had money off as well. Also, NUS cards are also great, but uni days is free. So when it comes to money and your job, I have a system where I have a job at Christmas, Easter and summer, and when I'm at university I don't have a job, simply because of my course is really hands-on and out of school hours and ridiculous. Like, I'll have uni all day and then 5 till 10 I'll have rehearsals sort of thing. I just would not have time for a job. My year is so unstable. I never know what I'm doing from day to day. I would have missed out on so many opportunities had I had a job at university because of the hours simply. Like, jobs usually want you to have a contract, or unless you have a 0 hours contract, which to be honest would just stress me out to no end because I struggle as it is to do all my essays, get all my work in on time, make sure I'm up to date with my reading for both sides of the course as well as act and do these amazing things that can fill up my CV, because at the end of the day, at the end of my degree I really want to do something with it and I want to have a full CV that I can apply for jobs that are relevant instead of wasting my whole time there working and working and working and have nothing to show for it at the end. Obviously I have to have a job when I come home because I can't afford that otherwise, so what I do is I save up a whole load of money, I work ridiculously hard for 3 weeks, go back with that money and spend that in that term and then fill it up, and then I've also got my savings account on top of that. That's just simply because of how my loan works. I don't get much of a student loan, I don't really get much to cover anything. I'm very lucky that my parents give me money for food. That's just how I work. It's each their own. I know people that have jobs at university. Student union jobs are probably the best ones you're going to get. We have a thing at our uni called WorkLink, which they will send you updates on jobs that you find relevant. I still get these updates, even though I looked at the job fair, decided I wanted a job, and then just didn't have time from then on out. I just found out I would not have time. First term I probably would have had time for it, and then second and third term it all blew up, things got crazy, and it just wasn't going to happen. From the looks of things, student union jobs are the best thing to get because they understand you're a student and they know what you're doing. Just be completely honest. If you go for an interview outside of the university grounds, just tell them that you're there as part of your degree. If they reject you, they'll reject you on that basis. If they accept you, they definitely have to understand that you are doing a degree as well and you are going to be busy, etc, etc. Don't spend the money you don't have. I know that's such a silly thing to say, but the amount of people in freshers that wasted so much money on having the best time and then had no money for the rest of the year. You can get apps on your phone which are like money trackers, so you can keep tabs on what you're spending. I was a lot more anal about that in first term. Obviously this advice is from relatively naive opinion and view on your situation because I don't know who could be watching this and what their situation could be. If you need a job, obviously try and get one. Do what is best for your situation. I just know from my situation I possibly couldn't have had a job at university, hence why I work when I'm home. Savings as well, try and put away a little bit each month. Don't spend loads and loads, because when it comes to summer, and a lot of my friends didn't have their student loan go in their account obviously because it's summer and they stop that and don't put it back in until the end of summer. It's quite nice to have a bit of money to enjoy yourself on those like 3 months that you are home, because the holidays are so long. I was really thankful for having saved so much money before I went to university. If you are a year 12, or which is kind of like 2 years before you're going, 2 years before you're going to university, try and save up money now. Honestly, you will thank yourself later. Even if you don't put it straight into your account to spend at university, you will forget you've got it and then be like, I've got money, I can spend it, I can go on holiday, I can go travelling and do things, and I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival without my savings. I went to Prague this year, as you saw in my travel diary. I've been on loads of day trips, and it's just been generally a really good summer because I've had money. Finally, your course and also not your course, so kind of the work-play balance. You might find that your course is not right for you. Being such a Debbie Downer, some people did change their courses quite quickly. Don't panic. If you sit there and you go, why am I here? What am I doing? Nah. Don't panic, you can change. You can talk to people really early on. If you're getting really early doubts, you can change and not have to do an extra year. It is not the end of the world. When it comes to your course, try and take it as seriously as you can, but also remember you are a first year. I don't want to be that person that's like, don't try. Obviously try, because this is your chance to kind of practice and have a test run. It's like a practice round in a game. You literally get to write as many essays as you want, get as many marks as you can, and pass the year with 40%, but it doesn't count for anything. So it's a really good time to pull all-nighters. If you're gonna write an essay last minute, first year is definitely the time to do it. But don't stress yourself to the extent of you don't have any fun because you're not leaving your room because you're revising loads. Obviously everyone goes to university for different reasons. Some people hate partying, I completely understand that, but try and find like an out of uni activity or a society or something that is also relieving for you. It's really hard to not get caught up in it because you've picked this course and you've gone to this university and you've worked hard to get there and you're there, and that's amazing, and that could be it for you. Like, you could want to spend your whole time there because you've got a place and you want to work hard at it and just do it to the best you can. At the beginning I just wanted to be really good at what I was studying, and I found that actually just came with time, and when I chilled out and started to actually know what I was talking about, then it just became so much easier to balance work and play and blah blah blah. Enjoy yourself. This year's been amazing for me. At the beginning it was really patchy, but once I chilled out, stopped panicking every night, working so hard every night because it was first year and I was taking it far too seriously for what it was, and at the end of the day it didn't count. I passed, I did well, I was happy, I had a great time, I enjoy my course. I feel like I'm going into second year with a good grounding behind me. I've got a lot of my own essays to look back on and be like, that I can use that and be like, need to change this, I now know what to change from this. And you're going to have failures, you're going to have 40%, you're going to have scrapes, you're going to have fails, but it's all part of the learning experience. Please don't beat yourself up about it or take it too seriously because it's not worth it. You don't want to waste your first year, you still want to have fun and enjoy yourself. Obviously don't take it too far and like never go to lectures or whatnot. Each their own, I just wouldn't recommend it. And that is all I've got to say on the matter when it comes to freshers. Just try and join as many societies as you can, try and get yourself involved, and push yourself, because this is the place and the time to push yourself. You haven't got anyone there to look after you. You've got to put yourself first. Be as selfish as you possibly can, because at the end of the day you're paying all that money to be there. You've worked so hard to be there, so just try and do what you can and make the most of it. Thank you guys for watching. It was quite difficult to cover everything in such a short-ish period of time, so this is quite a long video. There's probably still so much more that can be said. If you have any questions, put them down below and I will try and answer them in another video before we go, or a blog post. With regards to my blog, I've been trying to keep it more updated recently, so I'll put the link down below. Please be sure to check that out and have a look at some of my old posts. I've been keeping it going since 2011, so there might be some embarrassing old posts on there. Other than that, best of luck. Well done for getting into university this year. If you haven't, if you're deferring for a year, or if you're still thinking of going, best of luck. If you need any tips and tricks, leave any suggestions down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!